Hey everyone, it's Mega Champ again. With this image that's on screen now, you should know what that means. That's right, I have finished yet another game, and it's time to give my full thoughts on it. Let's just hope that this video doesn't have as many problems and takes nearly as long as that last one did. I can practically guarantee you it won't. Yeah, I don't even want to talk or even think about that anymore at this point, but what's done is done. It is what it is. You live and you learn, and you try to not let it happen again. But anyway, yes, it's true. Last night I finally finished Nier Replicant for the PlayStation 4, which is a remake of the original Nier game, which came out on the PlayStation 3. Technically, the name of the game is actually, obviously, because it's on screen here, Nier Replicant version 1.22474487139. That's still a lot of numbers, but the shorter way of talking about this game, or the shorter name for this game, is obviously just Nier Replicant. Before I get into my 5 things that I normally talk about, obviously, I'm just going to go ahead and let you know that I did get the Platinum for Nier Replicant, and I'm going to talk about that here in a bit before I talk about everything else. But, yay, a Platinum trophy. I literally only have 12, and I only go for ones that are relatively easy, or ones that I feel I can easily get or go for. I mean, I got the Platinum for Nier Automata as well, so I have the Platinums for both Nier games. I guess that's good? I don't know. Anyway, but yeah. So as always, as normal, as per the rules, or however you want to put it for my videos for this, I'm going to go over the story of the game, the characters of the game, the world of the game, where the game takes place, and of course, obviously, the graphics of the game and the gameplay of the game. So yeah, like I said, I did get the Platinum trophy for this game. I'm gonna be completely honest with you, because that's what you really should do when you do these sorts of things, and I'm not gonna just hide things like this. The Platinum for Nier Replicant, the PlayStation 4 version, it might be the case with other versions too, but the point is, the Platinum trophy for Nier Replicant PlayStation 4, there's really no doubt in my mind that it's the worst Platinum I've ever done in my entire gaming life. Yeah, that's really all I can say about it. The hardest and the worst Platinum trophy I've done. And the reason for that is because of the material grinding that I had to do in the game for the weapon trophies, and the speedrunning stuff that you have to do in the game. Yes, there's speedrunning stuff. To kill certain bosses and finishing the game within 15 hours. Normally when I see stuff like that, I don't go for the Platinum, but because the Platinum was a 3 out of 10, according to PlayStation or PSN profiles anyway, which is where most of the Platinums are, graded in terms of difficulty. There are other websites, obviously, but that's the main one I use. I decided to go for it, and I figured that, since I got the Platinum for Nier Automata, I might as well try to get the Platinum for Nier Replicant. And to be completely and brutally honest with you, the Platinum trophy for Nier Replicant, it ruined my overall experience for the game. It did. It really did, unfortunately. So there you go. I mean, I'm not going to hold that against it, because it would be kind of stupid to, honestly, I guess, and you could use the excuse and make the argument that I should put all the stuff put all my frustrations that I had with the Platinum Trophy aside and just talk about my overall experience in the game itself, which is obviously what I'm about to do here. But just keep that in mind if you decide to play this game for yourself, which, as always, although it's really only happened once so far, you absolutely should. But if you're going to go for the Platinum for this game, for Nier Replicant, just keep that in mind that it's more than likely going to ruin your overall experience with the game unless you have the best luck on the face of the earth. I mean, I guess there's always that possibility, but if you don't, and you're like me, and you have the worst luck on the face of the earth, or let's just put it a different way and say incredibly bad luck, then it's going to turn your overall experience with this game into a really into a worse one than it really should be, basically. And what I'm trying to say, and the point that I'm trying to make, is that it's going to ruin your overall experience. But I'm going to put my frustration with the Platinum Trophy for this game aside for now, and just talk about my overall experience with the game, because frustration with Platinum Trophies should not be something that, should determine on, or be a determining factor for if you liked a game or if a game was good or not. So we're going to put all of my frustration with the Platinum Trophy aside, and I will just talk about my overall experience with the game when I first experienced it, and when I wasn't worrying about all of these trophies. So obviously we're going to start on the story of the game, and as always, as per normal, or at least I'll do it to the best of my ability. If I don't, I'll try to give you a warning. I'll try to do my best to avoid spoilers. So the story of the game is pretty good, honestly. The story for Nier Automata was pretty decent too, but it's definitely a lot more interesting because in Nier Replicant, you go on a journey to save your sister from a disease that's spreading around the world. Although there's obviously a lot more going on than that, and there's a lot of shocking truths that are going to be revealed at a later time that I'm not going to talk about because it would be, like I just stated, overall game spoilers. But the overall story and the overall premise of the game is you go on a journey to save your sister from dying of a disease that nobody has a cure for, basically. It's kind of like the Black Plague, back when that was a thing. And it actually has a similar name, shockingly. I don't know if Yoko Taro was slightly inspired by that, but the disease in question is called the Black Scrawl. But basically, you go on a journey to cure your sister of said disease. So it's a pretty decent story, and there's a lot of stuff going on, and of course monsters, aka shades, whereas the main enemy in Automata was robots, mostly at least. But yeah. So you go around trying to cure of this disease and having to fight off shades from areas in your home and in general, really, and that's about all there is to it. And you are joined by a couple of probably unbelievably unique party members. I'll get into that in a bit, to say the least. And the mascot of the game, a floating book. Yes, it's a floating book called Grimoire Weiss, voiced by the same guy who does Gaara from Naruto. I hate using that example every time, but it's the one that comes to mind. He also does Entrance in .hack GU. There you go. He also used to do, keyword there, because now the voice actor is going to be someone else, Akihiko from Persona 3. He's still his voice actor in the original, in the PlayStation 2 game, and maybe the PSP version. I didn't play the PSP version, I don't know, but that's not the point. But you're joined by the mascot of the game, Grimoire Weiss, and you go on a journey to save your sister, and it's interesting at first, but things kind of get progressively worse and worse as things go on, and the story gets more interesting, and things happen, and yeah. I know that's not the best description, but I don't want to spoil things too much, like I just stated. But the point is, the story's pretty decent. I don't like comparing something to something else. I will kind of give here at the end if this game is better than Nier Automata, but so it's not exactly the best comparison and is an incredibly tough bar to climb or to cross, but I still think the story's really good, especially later in the game when things really get kind of bad, is the best way to put it. And especially after things start really turning to shit, pretty much. There's no other way for me to put it. And certain truths end up being found out and revealed. So the story's great. That's the point that I'm trying to make. The story's really good, keeps you engaged. Some shocking stuff happens, and keeps you even more engaged, hits you really hard and emotionally. It's Nier. What did you expect? So yeah, story's great. The characters on the game, of the game, obviously there are three main ones other than the side characters, which I do need to kind of mention here briefly. There's this one, obviously, the main character, which you give a name for, as you saw from my stream. I thought it was a Nier Automata situation, but it's not. I mean, if you want, you can name the character Nier. I guess technically that's the character's name, which I didn't know until later, so I just gave it my username, Megachamp, or Mega, whichever one you want to call me, I guess. But, that's the name that I gave the character. You can name the character whatever you want, or Nier if you want to be basic, but, the main character of obviously the mascot book that joins you later, Grimoire Weiss, and two other really interesting and really unique characters, to put it extremely lightly, that being Kaine, a female character that swears in pretty much every sentence that she speaks, not even kidding, and dressed provocatively, not even kidding. I mean, Grimoire Weiss literally calls Kaine a hussy. There's your answer to that. And she cusses in pretty much every sentence she speaks, or cusses pretty often. Cusses like a sailor, pretty much. So there you go. You definitely don't want to mess with her. She's definitely kind of the... Again, I hate using this trope or meme or whatever you want to call it. She's definitely the Tsundere type, but she has had a lot of tragic experiences and background, so it makes sense in the way she was raised by the person who raised her. So it makes sense in context, and it makes her kind of badass and one of the better and funnier characters, especially during the banter, during moments in the game, and even some side quests in the game. So, and of course, Emil. I know Emil is not on this picture, but if you have seen Yoko Taro and that thing he wears on his head, I actually don't even know what he really looks like, because I think he always has that thing on his head. That's the Emil head. So that's Emil, basically. I am actually, now that I'm actually talking about it and thinking about it, I'm kind of curious what Yoko Taro actually looks like without that thing on, but I think he does it on purpose, so that's completely off topic. So those are the three main characters of the game, and there are obviously other side characters too. Devila and Popola from Nier Automata are in this game. They're not literally, they don't literally look the same, but they're basically the same characters. And of course, Grimoire Weiss. There aren't any other characters from Automata in this game other than Devila and Popola, though, just so you know. And that's pretty much it. Emil's a really good and decent character as well, especially when you meet him and hear his background and stuff. It's pretty much just as tragic, and hits you just as hard as Kaine's does, and hits you just as hard as anything else does that you learn. So, yeah, it's an unbelievably great dynamic, honestly, and it's great, and it's funny, and it has great moments. It's just overall great. I can't really say anything else or put it any other way or describe it any better or in any other way. It's just a great dynamic and an unbelievably unique and weirdest group ever, so to speak, group and party, if you want to put it like that. I mean, it's only a party of three, characters, although I guess that's technically a party, because some Final Fantasy games only let you have a party of 3, but you get the point. And it's definitely the most unique and weirdest group ever to have to go around saving the world, so yeah. Or at least go around trying to help the main character save his sister from the disease, so... And then deal with the shades, of course. So, it's definitely a great and, party dynamic and weirdest party ever, but it makes it that much better and that much greater, so... And also, this game, literally just like Nier Automata, makes you feel certain ways and certain things and certain emotions about side characters. I'm not even joking. I wish I could go into it, but again, it would be major spoilers, so I'm not going to do that. But if you have played Nier Automata, which again you should, that game does the same thing for a couple of side characters as well, with Pascal and the operators and other characters too, to an extent, like the rebels and, you know, stuff like that. Even the pods to an extent, but it makes you feel certain things in certain ways and certain emotions that you don't normally and wouldn't normally feel about side characters. And let's just leave it at that, because if I go any further, it's major spoilers. So there you go. So the side characters and even some of the side quests too hit you really hard and really emotionally. So both this game and Nier Automata do an unbelievably fantastic job of doing that, when really no other game that I know of, at least, or very few games, to put it minimally, don't really do that, where they make you feel certain ways and certain emotions about characters that aren't even the main characters and are basically side characters, and it's fantastic. So they did a really good job with the characters of the game. Obviously, the main focus is on the main 3, but they do a really great job, just like Automata did, of making you feel certain ways and certain emotions about the side characters, too. So, great job with the characters. The world of the game, where the game takes place... it's pretty much the same location as Nier Automata, except thousands of years, maybe even tens of thousands of years, prior to it, obviously. There's a desert area, there's a forest, there's a library area. Some of the locations, too, once you actually see what happens to them later in the game, actually makes sense in terms of Automata areas too, like where the city is and stuff like that. There's not an amusement park area. I'm not really sure where that is in terms of Replicant, but there are a lot of very similar areas to Automata, but they are massively different, so it's not like it's the exact same area, because it's years apart, kind of like how the area in Tales of Berseria and Tales of Zestiria is the same, but it's thousands of years apart and different. So it is the same-ish area, but it is massively different. The world's pretty great, honestly. I'm sure you saw, it's open world-ish, but not exactly open world. Like, you're gonna come across some enemies that are really hard for you to beat at your current level, so you may have to, like, wait until you're stronger or a later level, or, you know, just stronger in general, in order to deal with them and to take them on. But the world is great, honestly, and it's open world-ish. It's kind of similar to Nier Automata in that sense, although it was a bit more streamlined, but still, it's a very similar kind of world creation that they did for Automata. So it's the same, but different. It's hard for me to explain. I'm sorry I'm not good at explaining these things, but you kind of saw the world when I did my stream, even though it was mostly side quests. But it's a pretty great area. Like, that beach area was probably that water area from Automata as well. It just collapsed or something, or I don't know, but But yeah, a lot of similar areas in Automata, except before all that stuff happened, obviously. But I still think the world is pretty great, and it definitely fits well for what they're using it for and what they're going for. So it works to how it's supposed to work, and that's really all that is important and all that matters. So, and the junk heap area is probably the the machine area at the literal beginning of Automata that you can go back to. So I hope you get my point now. Before I go into the final two things that I talk about, graphics and gameplay, which we all know I'm not an expert on, I'm going to quickly talk about one extra sort of category here, and that's the music. The music in this game is goddamn amazing. It's freaking amazing, except that other F word. It literally is the best soundtrack I've heard in probably quite a long time. Since, the best since Nier Automata, probably. I mean, some other soundtracks are pretty decent too, but when it comes to me and soundtracks, it's not almost literally every area theme, which was pretty much literally this game, and pretty much literally Automata as well. Great, fantastic, epic chanting. We all know, like we all heard, well, post commentary, I love me some epic chanting. The soundtrack's freaking fantastic. It really is the best soundtrack I've heard in quite a long time. So we'll see how long that lasts, depending on if I get to a certain game later this year, if I get to it at all. But the soundtrack is fantastic, and God is it good. Especially if you do the recycled world quest in Nier Replicant and PS4, which you can do after you get ending A. Oh my god, the music in those areas. There is no excuse for Nier music to go that hard. I swear. I'm not even kidding. So, yeah. If you're on a couple of the same discords that I'm on, I may have shared it in some of the Discord servers, so you know what I'm talking about. If you don't, play the game. There you go. Or if you don't want to play the game, maybe ask for it and maybe I'll give it. I probably will, but I'm just saying the music in this game is fan-freaking-tastic. The best I've heard in quite a while. So I just thought I should do that as a sort of special mention or extra category there. Overall, great soundtrack, but it's Nier. What did you expect? I mean, even the card game stuff that Yoko Taro has been putting out stuff recently, which I haven't played because I don't like card game stuff. Even the music in that, some of that I've heard is fantastic. So, don't know who he's getting, but keep it up. That's all I gotta say. So obviously the final two categories is graphics and gameplay. Again, I'm not an expert, and there's not really much to say here. The graphics are fine. It's technically a remake, remaster, whatever you want to call it, of the original Nier game, and it's PlayStation 4, so obviously that's going to be a massive improvement over the original. Is the graphics better than Nier Automata? I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. The cutscenes were definitely good, but so was the cutscenes in Nier Automata. I would say it's about the same as Nier Automata. It fit for what it needed it for. I mean, it's a PlayStation 4 game. Like I said, I'm not a graphics expert, but I thought they were good for what it was trying to use it for, and it fit the game, and that's really all that matters. As long as, there's not noticeable problems, then that's all that really matters, like I stated. So, graphics are fine. They work for what they're meant to work for, and they're just as good as they were in Automata, so that's all I got for you for graphics. Gameplay of the game is great. It's similar to Nier Automata in the sense that it's kind of an action game. Of course, also like I stated before, when it comes to me in action games, either I'm really good, really bad, somewhere in the middle, and then I go all over the place. But I was pretty decent at Nier Replicant. I was pretty decent at Nier Automata too. I played it on normal, except when I was doing material grinding when I had to play on hard. Don't ask me. I don't want to talk about it. But unlike in Nier Automata, um, well, actually, I guess it is kind of similar. Like, if you die, you just kind of continue from the start of the area that you died in. Not literally the room that you're in. There aren't, like, little pods or refrigerators or machine things or whatever you want to call those things that was in Automata to sort of allow you to regenerate or respawn or whatever. But it was still kind of similar, and the gameplay was great. We all know I love action games, and it's not like I don't like time based systems, because they can be pretty decent and pretty great too. Persona, obviously, and there are some some rumors about some Final Fantasy stuff, but we won't get into that right now. But yeah, the gameplay was great. It was just as good as Automata. Really fun. Similar stuff that Automata had, the machine gun type thing with the magic and different kinds of magic. I only showed you a couple of them, but or the ones that I used the most or found the most useful. You'll just have to experiment with all the magic on your own to see what works to your style and works to the best for you, or works the best for you, basically. But I thought the gameplay was great. Again, it fit what it was going for. Same as Nier Automata. I mean, it's not going to be massively different. I don't really think they should be doing anything massively different, because what they're doing with Nier is working, and again, that's really all that matters. Again, I'm no expert on graphics and gameplay, but it worked for what it needed to use it for, and that's really all that matters. As long as it's fun, and as long as I'm enjoying my time, that's it. That's all I can say about it. So it worked for what it was meant to work for. So there you go. So that's it. That's the story, the characters, the world, the graphics, and the gameplay. Of course, now I'm sure you want me to answer the question that is obviously, Mega, is this game better than Nier Automata? I don't know why you would compare these two games. I don't know why you would want to, because trying to compare this game to Nier Automata, like I kind of said at the start, is a very tough bar to climb and a tough bar to cross, because Nier Automata just had everything going for it. And this is technically a remaster or a remake of the original Nier game on the PlayStation 3. But if you want an answer as far as if this game is better than Nier Automata, the answer is no. Okay? There's your answer. The answer is no. But you really should not hold that against it, because I personally don't hold that against it. There's no reason to hold that against it. Every game is going to be different, and technically it's a remake, so you can't really compare that to how much they did in Nier Automata. Because just like in Nier Automata, this game has multiple endings that you have to do multiple playthroughs for. And without giving too many spoilers, this should be okay. Like, ending A, B, C, D, and E in Nier Automata were completely different from each other. A was different from B. B was different from C. C was different from D, in a way. And of course, E was different from all of the other ones. Whereas in Nier Replicant, A, B, C, D, and E were not really all that different. The only major difference was a couple of extra cutscenes and extra scenes in general. That was it. It was all pretty much the same. Whereas in Nier Automata, each ending felt like a completely different and completely new experience and completely new game overall. So Automata had that going for it. And it also had, joke endings from F to Z. There are no joke endings in Nier Replicant, which I personally thought was a good thing. I didn't need to be going around doing that on top of the material grinding and the speed running, but which, you know, is unfortunate because some of the joke endings in Nier Automata were pretty great and funny, but it actually works in your favor if you go for the Platinum, considering how bad the Platinum was for me. But, you know, you have to keep in mind that it's a remake of the original game, so you really can't and really shouldn't use that to hold it against it. So, is it better than Nier Automata? No, okay? It's not. It's really not. But that is an incredibly tough bar to climb and to jump over, and should not be used to go like, okay, I'm not going to buy this game now. No, you should still buy this game if you want it, of course, and I still obviously recommend that game in case you couldn't obviously tell. But no, it's not better than Automata, but that should not be an excuse for you to not play and experience this game for yourself, because it's a fantastic game. My whole problem was just the Platinum. That was my whole problem, but that was my own fault for going for the Platinum. So, there you go. It's not better than Automata, but it's still a great experience overall, and it was still worth it once I got to Ending E for Replicant, because Ending E is fantastic, just as Ending E in Automata was fantastic. But it was worth it, obviously. I mean, I got a platinum trophy out of it. Of course it's worth it. But, you know, I mean, there you go. I mean, it's not better than Automata, but it should not be used against it, so. There you go. That's Nier Replicant's story, characters, world where the games takes place, music, graphics, and gameplay. So an extra 6 for you instead of the normal 5. If the music stands out, I will mention it. If it doesn't, I won't. So I guess that can be a new rule now. The reason I didn't talk about music in the prior videos was because most of the music that I liked was the battle themes and the boss themes, and that's it. If it's a lot or most things that I hear from the game, then yeah, then I'll talk about it. But if it's only a couple of things like battle themes and boss themes, then I'm probably not going to talk about it. So just keep that in mind for future reference for, you know, full thoughts videos or whatever you want to call this diatribe and long-winded thing I go through. But yeah, just as a quick recap, story of the game is great. Characters of the game are great. Great dynamic. Weirdest group ever, but makes it even better. Makes you feel certain ways and certain things and certain emotions about side characters, just like Automata does. Great world. Same as Automata, but, you know, obviously different before the Automata stuff. Fantastic and fit what was going on. Graphics were fine. Fit what the game needed them for and what it was going for. Great gameplay. Action systems I always love. I mean, some are always better than others. Some I struggle with, some I don't. But, again, it fit what the game was going for. So, yeah. That's Nier Replicant for you. Overall, I would probably give this game... Well, Automata is a 9 out of 10. Or really a 10 out of 10, I guess. Since it won my personal game of the year one year, a couple years ago. So if Nier Automata is a 10 out of 10, then I would say Nier Replicant is a 9 out of 10. Or a 9 point... Well, I'm not going to give decimals, but a 9 out of 10. So there you go. It's still a great game and an overall great experience that I still think you should absolutely, you know, go for and experience for yourself. But, you know, that's up to everyone at the end of the day and up to the individual. So there you go. But that's all I got for you. Great game. You should definitely play it for yourself. Just be aware that if you go for the Platinum like I did, it's more than likely going to ruin your experience. But you really shouldn't, you know, include frustrations that you have with a Platinum trophy and have it affect your overall experience with the game. So, It's just unfortunate that things kind of worked out for me in that regard, but, that's kind of how platinum trophies are mostly, and it is what it is, and, it's the worst platinum I've done so far out of all of the platinums that I've done and gotten, but it's definitely worse than the Nier Automata trophy. I can say that for certain, especially the material grinding. I'd even go as far as to say that the material grinding in Replicant for the weapon trophies is practically 10 times as worse as it was for me in Automata, because it requires a lot of luck and a lot of running back and forth, which is not exciting in the slightest, but you gotta just kind of put frustrations with platinum trophies aside, and I did, because I just did. So there you go. Just keep that in mind if you do decide to go for the platinum trophy. So that's all I got for this game. It's a 9 out of 10. I do, like I said, I do obviously recommend it. I can't recommend it more, especially with the music and the franchise in general. But like I said, it's up to you. This is just my personal, feelings and thoughts and experiences. And everyone's feelings and thoughts and experiences are going to be different at the end of the day, so it's up to you. And I am sorry that it took me so long to do this and to put this out. But, certain things happened and it turned into a multi-day situation that was not fun, to put it extremely lightly. So it should have been gotten done far sooner than now. But what's done is done. You can't really control the past, so that's it. That's all I can say about it. Hopefully things can return to normal, and I may or may not be putting out another video here soon to talk about the summer game event stuff that I personally liked and cared about. We'll see. I'm waiting to see if something happens that has been running rampant in terms of rumors recently, if it's going to happen this week or not. If it does happen, then I will wait until it happens. If it does not happen, then I'll do it before the end of the week or whenever I feel I have time. So look forward to that, I guess. But for now, that's all I got. Nier Replicant is a great game overall. I do recommend it. Just be aware of the frustrating platinum. But I got it at the end of the day, so it's all that matters. Next up, the next game in my backlog is Biomutant, finally. You don't have to tell me about the mixed reviews for this game. I'm very well aware of them. But I am fairly confident. I mean, I'm never going to give 100% to anything because you literally can't. But I would say I'm 80% confident that this is not going to turn into a Balan Wonderworld situation. Because the general thoughts or the majority opinion on this game or the general reviews on this game are mixed, mediocre. Whereas with Balan, they were overall mostly negative and bad. So I should be okay with this game and for this game. I should be able to get myself through it. I hope. We'll see what happens, but, I should be able to. I am also attempting the Platinum Trophy for this game as well. It's another 3 out of 10, according to PSN profiles. I just hope it's not as bad as freaking Nier Replicant's Platinum was. That's all I can do is hope for the best. We'll see what happens. But, like I said, it's an attempt. That's a key word. We'll see what happens. I can always change my mind, obviously. But, yeah, Biomutant is next. It will probably start as soon as tonight. When I will stream it, I don't know. PSN Profiles states that the Platinum is 30 hours. It took me 80 hours to get the Nier Replicant Platinum, and it stated it was 70 hours, but it did state that it depends on luck. I always take longer than most for whatever reason to get a Platinum, so it's probably going to take me longer than 30 hours. I'll try to figure out what part would be good to stream. It's not going to be the beginning of the game because I got to get a hang of the game itself and the controls and everything, obviously. So it won't be for a couple days or at least a week, maybe. Although I've been playing games a lot, that's all I've been doing and all I've had time to do. So, if I think I can do it sooner than that, then I might. We'll see. Can't really say anything other than that. I'm sure the game will be fine. I hope. I mean, can't be worse than Balin. I'm sorry. Okay, so that's all I got for you. I've probably gone too long again, so yeah. Yeah. So, that's all I got. I'll see you next time for when either I go over the summer game event stuff that I personally liked, or for a Biomutant stream, whatever happens first. Probably the former, but until next time, this is Mega Champ saying next time I'll be providing you with more unlimited guidance. Hey, Yoko Taro, make another Nier game. Please. Please? Another one for the pipe dream list, I guess. See ya.